exponentially. AI has emerged as a powerful tool to increase human capacity and is reshaping markets globally. In an increasingly global economy that depends on open communication and open value transfer, we look into what a future would look like using the world's only open, global, and neutral money. And we even get a little weird, asking questions as if we are an AI, looking at what currencies it should use in the future. Welcome to the Bitcoin Daily Show. I'm Dante Cook, head of Swan Business. In a world that's increasingly moving from analog to digital, AI and AI technologies are here and are here to stay. But in an AI future, one has to ask the question, how are we going to find the resources needed to power these AI data centers? We're going to need more power and electricity than Ellie De La Cruz from Cincinnati Reds, who threw a ball 107 miles per hour the other night. Larry Fink says that the world is going to be short power, and I fundamentally agree with him.
And I do believe to properly build out AI, we're talking about trillions of dollars of investing. So data centers today could be as much as 200 megahertz. And they're now talking about data centers are going to be 1 gigawatt. That's powers a city. There was one tech company that I spoke to the CEO last week who said right now with all their data centers is about 5 gigawatts. By 2030, they need 30 gigawatts. 30. The amount of power that's needed to use AI has huge impact on society. Where's that power going to come from? Are we going to take it off the grid? What does it mean for elevated energy prices for everybody else? If it's that, I think it's going to represent some huge societal questions that we have not addressed, the negative side. Forget about the use of it, but just the generation of it is massive power. Okay, but that is a huge investment opportunity so that the world is going to be short power. Short power. And to power these data companies, you cannot have just this intermittent power like wind and solar. You need dispatchable power because you can't turn off and on these data centers.
He says that there's going to be a massive opportunity for investment. But with all dollars in investing in these projects, where's the money going to come from? Are we going to create more debt out of thin air? Or are we going to find a way that we can reliably finance and sustainably monetize these new projects and infrastructure solutions? Either you find a steady buyer who's willing to always buy, use, and consume the power that's generated from this infrastructure that you create, or you risk passing that on to consumers. And the cost to power these AI data centers are going to overwhelm the average household budget. So where is the money going to come from? Listen to what Paul Thanos has to say, a director from the Department of Commerce, about the future of infrastructure investments and how Bitcoin mining is going to be critical for financing these in a responsible way.
Bitcoin mining can help monetize a new generation of energy projects where there's going to be more and more demands for energy for various reasons, some of which we heard about again this morning. So that's maybe one fundamental point. Then we sort of break that down and, into, flexible load resources or demand response and how companies are helping utilities balance electricity grids. I mean, that's very, very obviously critical, important, and probably will be more important moving forward.
Even officials from Kenya's Ministry of Energy have said that they are looking at Bitcoin mining as a possible solution to monetize the vast amount of renewable energy sources that they have in Africa. But in the conversation of Bitcoin and AI, many people are neglecting one critical aspect of how Bitcoin can be useful in a future with AIs. In a world where machines and computers and AI agents will begin to talk with each other freely. No, I'm not talking about through APIs, which are programmatically triggered through code that humans write today. I'm talking about AIs talking to each other directly through APIs voluntarily without a human telling them to do it. What will build the foundation of trust that will create a platform for these AIs to talk to one another? If you were an AI, let's say created in the US or created in Russia or in China, would you use a government created, government mandated, fictionally built token that's created by an adversarial government that may or may not be useful in other jurisdictions or other available APIs or AIs in the world? No. You would want to use a global neutral form of currency in order to interact with other machines, because this creates the most available opportunity for you as a machine, as well as the other machines that you can talk to. Computers and AI, especially in the future, are going to be smart enough to realize that powering themselves with a currency that can be created and printed ad infinitum would actually deplete the world's available resources. Wouldn't they need a currency limited by energy? Wouldn't they want a currency undergirded and governed by proof of work? Or else, someone could just print all of the amount of currency that they could use to run the AI, which would actually, in theory, kill the AI. Listen to what David Marcus, founder of PayPal and lightning startup Lightspark, has to say about this very topic.
Something that requires the friction of converting non-digital money into digital money. So it has to be digitally native. And no one in the world will accept any form of native digital value that's not maximally neutral, right? Because it's like, not like the Europeans are not going to accept an American version of a digital asset, or vice versa. And so, like, what is the most neutral form of digital native internet money? It's Bitcoin. And so if you make it super efficient, super fast, real time, at the speed of AI transactions, that's basically going to be the native currency of AI. And then, you know, it's kind of this interesting thing where, you know, a few years ago, there was this article that blew my mind that, you know, Google Translate built AIs to do the translation service, which is like, you know, really a mind-boggling service when you think about it, you know, 20 years ago, like a thing that you can talk to and speaks another language. It's pretty remarkable what they did with it, with this level of fidelity. But they figured out that this AI that was actually using unassisted learning, unaided learning, came up with its own language. And it was kind of its own neutral language to basically translate one language to another using its own thing. And so what is it going to be for value between AI agents? Definitely Bitcoin, because that's the neutral language of value on the internet, native.
When you remove the political backlash and backdrop on which currency would be best for everyone, you realize that Bitcoin is the only global and neutral currency out there. It doesn't owe anyone any favors, and it's governed by the fundamental thing that people all over the world can agree on. Energy is valuable and energy is costly. Therefore, that gives this currency value to anyone and anywhere in the world. One final thought, since we're talking about the future. In just a few minutes after this launches, Swan CIO, Hafiz Zaguri, will be running a retirement webinar called The Numbers Don't Lie, talking about the future price predictions of Bitcoin and how holding Bitcoin in your retirement portfolio could dramatically impact your future and how you will be experiencing retirement. He's one of the brightest minds on financial modeling there is, and you're not going to want to miss his insights and what he's going to run through on the future potential and long-term catalysts of Bitcoin, specifically in a retirement portfolio. Sign up with the link in the show notes. And remember, even if you're unable to watch this live, by signing up for the webinar, you'll get a link to the recording and will be able to go back and watch it later. You're not going to want to miss it. And with that, we're signing off for today. This is Dante Cook with Swan.com. Happy stacking.